Hey guys, welcome to what is hopefully the first of a few world building sessions. Man, that's a good start right there with me. I don't have a name for this world yet. I'm just calling the entire thing Project Babylon. Let me kind of lay out the groundwork here. As some of you might know, I am terrible at doing sandbox content. I like to think I'm a great improviser, but perhaps improvisational comedy, improvisational role play, improvisational acting, yes, but improvising encounters and situations on the fly, I just don't feel like I'm pulling it off. And so, what I'm looking to do here is to let dice do all the deciding for me. What's going to happen is I'm using this website called Donjon. It has a number of generators for a number of different things. It's got quest generators, names, statistics, all that kind of stuff. And so that's going to be the back end because I don't want to know exactly what happens. This is like Powered by the Apocalypse. I don't set out all the variables here. I don't know everything that's going to happen. I want to be just as surprised as the players as content emerges dynamically. And yeah, so I've got a couple of different source materials I'm drawing from. The first is I would like to switch the magic system to Pathfinder Ultimate Magic's Variant Magic Word of Power. And what that is it completely redoes all of the spells in Pathfinder to just be words. So instead of casting Cure Light Wounds, you would just cast a spell that's called Heal. And it will heal you for 1d6. Unless you tag it with the word Boost, which you would have to learn, and then you would cast a spell Boost Heal, and then it would deal 1d8 plus your caster level. That kind of stuff. So, you develop these spells by tagging words together, and you have to learn the words. You have to be high enough level to use the words. It's very interesting. You can find it on the SRD, Pathfinder System Resource document. Just Google Words of Power. There'll be more of that later. That's just something I'd like to see because I think the magic system in Pathfinder is way more powerful than the melee system. It's also difficult to just keep track of all these spells, and it'd be way more easier to just listen to the way someone says something and be like, that makes sense. The way you've built that spell, you've made something that is a beam of fire and ice that hits exactly one person. Roll your attack. And I would know all that just by listening to them call out the spell name, because they just wrote it. Cities, I'm not going to be doing city maps so much. I'm going to be using, it's a document called Vornheim. You can find it on DriveThruRPG. It has excellent ways of doing cities. You determine the number of districts in cities, which I will do. I will then use the Donjon, the fantasy demographics calculator. So, here's Ladford. Here's everything about Ladford. There's how many people live there. There's how many noble houses it has. I think that number's way too high, of course. But, guardsmen, advocates, and all that stuff, there you go. So, I mean, something simpler like a more realistic number for Pathfinder system would be like 13,300 people. Now I know that there are 11 chicken butchers. They probably have a couple guilds of chicken butchers, like there's a chicken butcher conflict. Now I know. Have I thought about this kind of stuff before? No, but look, there's exactly one magic shop in the whole city. In a city this large. It's the only place anybody's going to be able to find stuff. See all the interesting things we learn when we use math and numbers and random shit? Stars Without Numbers is a fantastic system. And it has what a lot of people like to call the Game Master minigame. Much like what I'm about to do, a GM will develop an entire sector and will populate it with planets, and then those planets will get tags. So instead of writing everything about a planet, like this planet is temperate, it has an average rainfall of 67.3 inches every one celestial year, which is 73 days. Its government is blah, 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 like that. You'll just have tags that'll be like, it's temperate. It has a government. That government is this. Government is a meritocracy. And then you'll be like, smugglers, it will be one tag, and then like war-torn is another tag. And you write the story from there once you have the tags that you've randomly rolled for. You don't even have to decide it until the players say, what's up with this planet? And you say, well, I know I've got these tags. Here you go. Here's what I think is going on with this planet. And as the players interact with it more, you can develop it more heavily. You don't have to have it all prepared. The other thing about the tags is that they usually come with quest ideas attached to them. So, for instance, smugglers, what does that mean? Does that mean the planet loves smugglers? Does that mean the planet is run by smugglers? What if you have a quest to smuggle something? What if you have a quest to stop something from being smuggled? What if your quest is to come from another planet, to come here and blockade the planet to keep the smugglers from going there? So now you're on a patrol mission where you're like scanning all these ships and checking their cargo and making sure they aren't leaving the system. Is it legal what you're doing? Who knows? Now we have dynamically generated content. I was thinking an encounters chart, but I might drop that. I really like the Don John fantasy random encounter generator. We'll figure that out. I don't have everything yet. This is called 100 adventure ideas, but it's really more like 202. And let's say the players go to a tavern and they're like, what's the rumors? I can just be like, well, it turns out that, let's go to this website. Hopefully no one's deleted it in the last time since I've checked it. Sure is taking a long ass time to load. I'll just sip at some water. Wow, that's embarrassingly long. Okay. Someone in the party secretly half-wolf. That probably wouldn't be. Undead threaten cities across the nation. So now, they're going in a tavern and they're like, what's happening? And I'll be like, well, turns out that... let's do it in a bartender's voice. Well, turns out... there's a couple of them zombie packs led by the necromancer Vishtu. They're besetting the empire. Have risen up. Yep. Sure will be trouble in the south. And then the players are like, maybe I want to go to the south. And the bartender's like, well, I happen to know of a job down there. Noble lords looking for mercenaries. And there you go. I got an adventure. I got a thing. I didn't have to make bullshit up on the spot because I'm apparently very bad at that. So let's start at the highest level. This is a world. I don't know what's in the world yet. I don't want to know everything about this world. At the highest level, I want the world to have the Words of Magic system. I want Ultimate Campaign, Pathfinder's Ultimate Campaign, has a system called Honor. And what it is, it's like a way of tracking your progress as a character, not by levels, but by their actions. And so I think I would sit down with whoever plays this game. And of course, we'll have to come back to that. Who would play this? But figure out what kind of honor system. Are there going to be multiple honor systems? Is the whole world united under one system of honor? Does each particular empire or nation or country or county have its own honor system? We'll hammer that out in a world building with the players. But let's look at, what you might not think of as an honor system. Criminal code. If you adopt a code, which is, say, I only commit property crimes, you get some honor. So you walk around town, you spread the news. Your character is a man with a repeating crossbow. He only rips off drug dealers. He whistles as he approaches, and everyone says Omar is coming. You now have a criminal code. Omar is coming. Better throw him the drugs. It's, of course, a reference to The Wire. If you haven't watched The Wire, I understand Season 1 kind of sucked, until you get to like the last couple episodes. Seasons 2 through 5. If you can get through season 1, it's like Star Trek Voyager. If you can get through season 1, it's fantastic. But you don't understand everything unless you watch those first couple episodes. Yeah. So, you know, if the world or whatever area they're in runs on criminal codes, stealing stuff, coordinating crimes, that will raise your honor level. What can you do with honor, you're asking? Well, where was the honor spending stuff? Yep, here it is, spending honor. You can get favors, you can get gifts and loans. There was like a thing somewhere, I apologize. Was it fame? It might have been fame. Cohorts, contacts. There was a system for rising through the ranks. Exploration. Man, am I missing it now? General honor events, blah, blah, blah. Gift or loan. There was a way to, like, spend that stuff. Dang it. Alright. As you can see, I'm still piecing everything together, but, this items, relationships is not what I wanted to have. Here it is, reputation and fame. Okay. So, the honor and the fame systems are kind of tied together. And as you can see, like, you find stuff, you get a level, you know, your fame rises. And as it rises, you can spend it on different things. So, maybe one day you'd like to learn magic and you're not a magic user. Well, it turns out you can get a planner pact and you can just be like, I'm going to cash in my chips today. I'm going to go to Wizards Guild and I'm going to be like, hey, I'm an important person. Or, hey, remember that time I helped you guys out dealing with that necromancer problem? That Vishtu guy? And I didn't tell anybody it was... You guys were funding it, so why don't you get me an imp? And they're like, whoa, you sure, bro? And you're like, yeah, man, I want an imp, totally. And then the imp's like, I'm going to stab you in the neck. And you're like, no way, man, I bound you. So it serves you for 24 hours. There you go. But, yeah, you can... So this is like a Pathfinder thing where they have factions, like the Hell Knights. You see that in a lot of Pathfinder societies, is Hell Knights. In Skulls and Shackles, you'll see the pirates, specifically. The Hell's Harbor faction has played a huge part so far. Port Peril faction, ostensibly, what a fancy word, led by Bonefist Kurdak, the Hurricane Lord, but in actuality... In the fiction we've written so far, it's basically run by Sadok Goldtooth, who is a jerk-ass. So, you could see that there's Initiate as a title. You join an organization, so perhaps in this world, you know, there's mercenary groups or something like that. Maybe a player would like to join them. And then you can rise up and become an officer and various different things, commander, and then eventually just take over the organization as a high commander. I'd like to see stuff like that. You don't really see that in Pathfinder Adventure Pass. They're so rigidly focused on doing one thing. I just want to see the dynamic content. So, let's step in. That's high level. Outside the world stuff. In the world, we start in this village. It's in the mountains. There's two parts to it. It's called Zathras. There's Upper Zathras and Lower Zathras. There's 435 people that live there. They all have nuclear families, so people get married, have 2 kids, and that's it. The population rarely changes, and it usually changes positively. Someone will come from the outside and join the city, and then just like boom, they're there forever. You don't leave Zathras. This is a mountain village where people go to retire and get away from the rest of the world. It's built above a waterfall. So even Lower Zathras in the mountains is above this beautiful waterfall with this path that only merchants who are willing to brave this, like, Italian side of the road, you know, like curving along this shit, and like their wagons might break down and then they're stuck, or the horse might fall off the side of this path. So only people who are willing to go there, and that the people of Zathras trust, ever bring outside news, and even then the village council kind of tightly controls that news. So the players will begin as like young teenage troublemakers who are exiled from Zathras. They're like, do not return for 1 year because you've caused all this trouble. Go out into the world and see how fucking terrible it is. If you want to leave so badly, we're not going to stop you. But this is the last time we're going to let you set fire to the, I don't know, smoke lodge. So something like that. Some event forces the players away from home. And now, with little or no knowledge to anything, they are sent into this new world, Project Babylon. So let's get some rolling done, because that's what you're here for, right? You're here to help me build things. And yes, if you're in the audience tonight, you can help me out. If you are watching this on YouTube, you might still be able to help me out. If you have an idea, certainly leave a comment or send me a message, and I'll see if I can add it. If I haven't started the sandbox yet, I'll almost certainly take it. How this works is you roll 2d20. That's going to determine the terrain type. And then it's going to determine what's on that terrain. So, let's do it. Prepare to be thrilled. 3 and 4. So, what are we looking at? We are looking at a forest tile that has a feature on it. So let's look up forest with features. A feature may have a cluster of massive old-growth trees, or some type of tree that is unique to the region. Old-growth forest, the canopy might limit how much light is there, so the undergrowth is tends to be low-lying, tough plants like mosses and ferns. What do you guys think about that? I mean, let me know in the chat. I'm going to throw that up there, and then we'll decide on a feature shortly. Or, you know, I might not decide on a feature. We'll figure it out. So here we go. Boom. A forest. Look how beautiful that thing is, actually. I'm not a huge fan of that. We'll go with this one. Not a huge fan of that either, but we'll roll with it for now. We'll deal. So we'll come back to the featured forest. Now we're looking at 3. That's going to be another forest. 19. It's a standard hex. Not much going on here. It's just a forest. You know, people hunt there. Things happen. But what type of forest is it? That's a good question. Is it a patch of lowlands, thickly needled pine? I don't know if we need to answer those questions, though. Those don't sound like things that need to be answered, because we don't really know much about the world other than the fact that there's a mountain and Zathras is on it. Do they live on the island? Is the whole world like nothing but islands, and they're like, hey, I'm from Zathras. Apparently we are all like Jamaican or Caribbean, man. Everything is palm trees around here, and we are part of the empire, and we have silver swords. You know, maybe that might happen. I don't know. Why are their swords made of silver? I don't know. We'll find out. Nothing going on there. 6 and 14, so that's going to be different. We got hills with a secret on it. What is this dark secret? That looks pretty hilly. Alright, hills. What are your secrets? Hidden caverns that provide shelter or layers for monsters. Locating these caverns is blah blah blah. But what shall we put in these caverns? Anybody got any ideas? Or what kind of caverns are they? I mean, are we looking at like limestone formations underneath the rock? Are they bandit camps that have been carved out intentionally? Is it a dwarven settlement? Like a very small dwarven settlement that's just sprung up here. Maybe a necromancer built, or like some sort of like worm controller, some sort of like dark wizard, or not even dark wizard, just like a crazy like magic beast controller wizard who's like carved these caverns out with huge worms. Actually, you know what? That's exactly what it is. Let's write that down. So it's time to lock this in. So this is a forest, and it has, what did that forest have? It had a feature. And then let's make a note. What is that feature? Well, I think whatever it is, it's going to be a thick forest. So it's going to be massive trees. They don't have to be tall. They just have to be wide. And I'm not talking about the tree size, the branches. It's going to cut off most access to the ground. And the ground is going to be like nothing but fern plants or something like that. Just very simple. Here we have forest standard. And here we have hill with a secret. And that secret is that an arcanist experimenter of magical beasts has his worms cut tunnels here. So maybe that'll affect the world, you know? Now we have, I mean, this is probably like a basis for a good quest. You know, people are feeling rumbling beneath the earth, but they don't know quite why. Something is moving in these hills, but no one can figure it out. Or maybe someone's just like, damn, there's that crazy wizard out there. Let's deal with it. I don't know. I don't know what it'll be. We'll figure that out when it comes around. But what we do know is that it's going to be awesome. That's going to be a hill and probably also another secret. Hill and secret. Boom. Now what's this secret? I like the idea of like a secret underground. Like maybe why would this wizard be next to somebody? I'm thinking that there's like a limestone cavern where some lightless creature takes rest. So this is like in Fallout 3. There was some sort of like vampire cult called the Blooded. I mean, I don't think that they were actual vampires, but there was like a cliff face, and you would go into it, and there was like a rail thing, and they lived in like an underground subway. And they never left because they couldn't handle the light. Also, they drank human blood. But yeah, I think that something like a vampire who got separated and now he's so far away from any cover. Like, there's things around here moving. He's afraid to go out at night. It might not be a vampire, but just something that can't handle light normally. Is stuck here trying to escape this area, and he can't. Seven and 7. Well, the marsh with hunting grounds. Sound a pretty bayou to me. So let's say it's a swamp. Attacks from underwater. It's definitely got crocodiles, like for sure, no doubt. So this is marsh, hunting ground, crocodile, swamp. What else would be in a swamp? Well, I don't really need to know that actually. We can just generate it dynamically, but we do know that people come to this swamp to get crocodiles. And so, any nearby settlements will probably have a pretty good trade of, like, leatherworking crocodile hides. So they'll have, like, nice, thick, tough armor and like luxurious bags and stuff. It'll be a thing. I won't have to just say like they're wearing leathers. I can be like they're very specifically wearing crocodile leather. There's a huge like they have like croc heads on top of the lampposts, just like carved in. There's a real like bayou culture in the town. I'm talking like New Orleans, where everybody's like eating spicy marsh food. They're all really friendly, and I guess maybe I have a different experience from New Orleans than some people. But yeah, I lived in Baton Rouge for a couple years, so let's get that thing up on the map. What's good? Marshy marsh. Is that a marsh? Yeah, I can see that. All right. 15 and 9. Well, that's a new one. It's water. And it's also a hunting ground. So right next to this marsh. The marsh is on the edge of a body of water, which unsurprisingly makes total sense. And it's a hunting ground, so let's go ahead and... No, that's not doing it for me. That'll do. That'll do, pig. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just make sure everything's lining up. 5, 6. Okay, so this is water. Oops, water. Hunting ground. Well, they probably still hunt crocodiles here. I'm thinking it's like low, like it's only like 30 foot deep or something, so it's not deep enough for like maybe it is like Louisiana, so like there's lots of like wooden stuff here, or maybe like Hawaiian or Islander where everything's up on stilts. So it's got like crocodile hunting, small local farm population, some sort of water crop. And people just come out here, and some people like live here and do their hunting directly in like houses built on stilts, and they get around on shallow draft boats, like maybe canoes or some sort of even a gondola. Like it's not, the water is there, but it's not super deep. Eight and 7. Still a marsh. Still a hunting ground. Alright, so this is like the edge of the water as it bumps up against this tile, this section of the map. And so, I mean, nothing's really changing here. We're looking at, still got the crocodile swamp. So this is enormous, right? Like, this isn't, each of these tiles is 12 miles from side to side. So this is like a 36-mile long stretch of crocodile hunts. So they're probably like super huge, crocodiles here. And maybe that'll feed back into this worm creator, because maybe he's growing like a super crocodile and it somehow gets out of control and becomes like a burrower. And so he's like hiding all of his experiments down underneath this hill. Again, I'm trying... imagination's getting ahead of me. Trying not to pre-generate too much content here. Alright, marsh again. Also a hunting ground. I think we'll keep going with it. No reason to swap it up. Maybe there is something to swap up, though. Maybe down here in the south end, maybe instead of a crocodile swamp, something with undead, because undead and marshes. So some sort of... it's still got to be hunting, right? So it's still crocodiles. But also some sort of delicious and rare creature. So, if you ever had crocodile meat, they're not super great. But maybe there's some sort of, like, axe beak that only lives in this swamp. We'll call them marsh axe beaks or something, right? I mean, this isn't necessarily what I'm going to put down there, but it's like a rare creature that only grows in that specific section of the swamp, super endangered. People love them and have been hunting them into extinction. 6. We got hills that are difficult terrain. So the area is like rising. So we've gone from like forests to kind of like a hill land, and then the land drops down into a marsh, deeper into like low water, and then back up into the marsh, and now we're on the hills on the other side. What I use for hills? Bam. This should be number 9. We have hill difficult. I think what might be difficult about these hills is that they're nothing but mud, but let's check. Hill difficult. Short cliffs, jagged stone. I think instead of it just being jagged stone and all that stuff, I think it's gonna be muddy. I think it's gonna be like the mud version of quicksand where it gets really stuck. Mud, quicksand. So like high suction mud that's really hard to move through. So it's like these not like huge hills, but everything's covered in like a couple inches of mud. You know, to get anywhere, there's like plants growing, but they're like crappy, like kudzu plants. There's not really a reason to live out in these hills, and it's difficult to get anywhere. See, boom, 6 and 19. Not a lot going on there, just regular old hills. Reach the end of part 1. So this is like as the average ground level in the area continues to rise past these muddy low hills, you've got like actual real hills where people farm and stuff like that. Not like this sucking area. All right. 20 and 8. Well, 20 is previous, and 8 is a hunting ground. So, hunting hills. Something's hunted here. I'm sure you audience members can let me know. Leave a comment section. Leave a note in the comment section below if you have something in particular you'd like to see special about these hunting grounds. What's hunted here? How do they do it? Is there some sort of special procedure? Is there something about this hunting ground that makes it like it's an elephant No, what do they call them? Elephant graveyard? All the elephants come here to die. I don't know. You let me know. 7 and 13 is a marsh with a secret. Man, Martian is popular around here. And usually so. Oh, there it is. And we'll come back to this secret. Let's see what's going on around it. 20 and 19. So it's another marsh with nothing happening. Lion King is fantastic, by the way. I was actually just earlier today listening to what is that Hitler type song that they have during that? That's got like all the Nazi iconography. Be Prepared by Scar. Now that was a AAA class villain. He was willing to commit murder. He got away with it. He covered up most of the evidence. If Simba hadn't survived by a stroke of luck, he would have ruled forever. And as it is, his like kid goes on to like cause him trouble in the other movies, right? I never really saw them, but that's what I hear on the streets, yo. Good evening, by the way, the lazy gorilla. We're not really playing Pathfinder tonight. We're building it. 19. What's that? Previous and also standard. So somehow these marshes are getting everywhere. Yeah, I get the idea that this place has got like a high water table. It is Louisiana so far. Now I know why hunting crocodiles is so popular in this world. 18, same deal. Standard marsh. Hmm. 3 and 17. We have forests that are standard. Okay. No, yeah, I want the other forests. Where are my forests at? There we go. 1 and 12. Forest with a resource on it. There, we've got something new. Okay. What kind of resource does this forest have? You know, if you guys have any thoughts on this, let's see what the suggestion is. Valuable lumber, medicinal herbs, or plentiful source of game meat. Well, everything around it's already got kind of crocodile hunting type stuff going on. I think lumber or herbs. You know what else could be here though? Is like magical portals to like the Fey realm. That could be a resource, right? Like this is how you cross planes. There's some way to do it here. That does sound more like a secret. Yeah, so I mean, if you guys are looking to get into games, like I'm telling Lazy Gorilla here, sign up on Roll20. Go to the new Looking for Group tool. Some of these groups take a while to get together. It can sometimes be hard. Sometimes it's very easy. You know, you got to pick a system. You got to pick people that speak your language. You have to decide: are you doing voice, video, text messaging? But when you get a group together and it really works, it's incredible. It's amazing. It's awesome to do things, to use your imagination, to figure out what happens. It's totally worth whatever effort you have to put to it. And I say this knowing that I have made so many games on Roll20, and it is. Sometimes people will sign up and join, and then they'll leave and they won't say anything. And so, like, you send them messages, they won't get back to you. You're not really sure why. And it's not just me. I know it's not just me. I was worried for a very long time that people just didn't like me. People do it all the time on Roll20. They just join a group and they decide maybe they don't like it. Maybe it's not a great time for them. And rather than just having the responsibility and maturity to say, I can't make it anymore, they just send nothing. And then you get worried. You're like, am I going to hear from this guy? Do I need to find someone to replace him? Did something happen? You know? So, you know, don't let that stop you, though. I never let any of that stop me. You just have to keep looking. You'll find that group. So there's a Fey portal here. That's what it is. So the resource here is access to other worlds, and with that, all the dangers and treasures you can get from it. 16 is water. 15 is a standard water tile. I think that's a good place to put it too, right? Oh, it's a little... maybe there's like a river connecting them. We'll figure it out. And 4 and 10. The hill, hunting grounds. There seem to be a couple popular choices here. Wonder is in this hunting grounds. We'll figure that out later too. I don't know if you guys have any ideas what you like to see in those hunting grounds. A plains, finally a plains. An average, ordinary plains. I'm way behind on something, man. Let's see here. We got hills. We got 4 marshes. We got forest. Oh, we're missing forest, water, hill, plain. So, forest, water, hill, plain. Boom. Now we're back up to speed. 9 and 10. Mountain. That is a hunting ground. Yep. There's a huge amount of crocodile hunting areas. Yeah, so pretty much every square that is a marsh is a crocodile hunting area so far. I have a lot of marsh hunting areas. Mountain hunting ground. Bandits and monsters. Ooh. Increased random. So I don't really need to do anything here. Like, it already has its own increased amount. There's... The hunting ground is the players. So that's... Mountain hunting ground. Let's open that up. Just make sure it doesn't suck. Yep, that's good. We'll put it all on the map later. Let's try to rep these out. 20 and 9. So that's going to also be a mountain because it's the same. And it's also a hunting ground. So these are some dangerous ass mountains, man. People come here to die. Alright, 18 is also going to be a mountain because it's the same. And 9 is still hunting ground. These mountains, not safe. 6 and 12. These hills with a resource. What is a resource for hills? Quality stone, coal, precious metals, or gems. So maybe it's right next, it's right up to some mountains, right? So the classic is going to be the entrance to a iron mine that goes under the mountains. Yeah, I mean, it's that, nothing fancy, you know. Maybe there's some gems in there. I don't really think that that's how it works. I don't think that you find like iron and gems next to it, but fuck, if Minecraft or Dwarf Fortress is any indication, I guess maybe that's how it works. That doesn't sound like how it works to me, but maybe. So, there's an entrance to iron mine here. I think my cat is banging on the door upstairs. It's been causing trouble all night. 5 and 11. That might be the same thing. Hill with a resource. Yeah, so I mean, there's like this huge amount of iron sitting underneath these hills. $17, $14. That's going to be hill again with a secret. What is the hill secret? Hidden caverns provide shelter and layers from monsters. I'm not going to throw anything in there because this increases the random encounter chance. So we already know that this area is pretty beset by random encounters. So no need to fancy things up. Jim, how's it going? 8 and 19. The marsh. Standard. Nothing special. Okay. Go ahead and get those out. Oh, Mike Crocodile Dundee. Everyone gets that reference. What a nice dude, though. I mean, like, I rewatched Crocodile Dundee, like, less than a year ago. He's, like, super sexist. They make it really obvious that he is definitely, like, a crocodile poacher. In the very beginning, the guy's like, "You're a croc poacher." And Crocodile Dundee immediately finds a reason to punch him in the face for no other apparent reason. And then he's spotted, like, poaching crocodiles the whole time, so he's out there waltzing Matilda. Okay, so this is a forest with a resource. I don't know what kind of resource this forest would have. We already have a Fey portal. So it could have game meat, medicinal herbs. Herbs sounds good, though. Yeah. Oops. Let's have it have some sort of... I would have a mechanical effect. Let's say that herbs from this forest are used to make drugs. Yep. Drugs are in the game now. That's how it is. You don't see it in a lot of Pathfinder Society or Adventure Pass, but they are in the rules, and they do provide interesting bonuses. Most players stay away from them, but I think we can probably custom craft some drugs that'll make people wonder, do I want to up my strength at the cost of some bad shit and then get addicted? Who knows? People do it all the time in Fallout. Now, admittedly, in Fallout 3, you can just save scum if you're, a filthy save scummer. A subhuman monster. But yeah, drugs, they're a thing. So, what do we got here now? A 5 is a hill with a featured hills. Ooh, burial mound. A battle. I think that there's a fort. I think that this is a fortress. So it's hills with a feature. So this will be Canman 22. This isn't a book. I'm using Ultimate Campaign, but this isn't a particular adventure. I'm building a sandbox game using the rules from Ultimate Campaign. It is, however, the Pathfinder system, so, of Dungeons & Dragons 3.5. I'm thinking this is going to be like a watchtower, like at the beginning of Lord of the Rings, where they're, like, fighting the ring wraiths on this gigantic stone plateau. There's going to be a destroyed watchtower on a high hill here. Ten and 6. Looking at mountains with a feature. Mountain feature. Mountains, the highest in the vicinity. Unusual shape, resembling a face. Well, I'll tell you what. You guys tell me what's on these mountains. What What faces on these mountains? What's special about them? Are they the highest hills in the land? Do they have the face of a dead king carved into them? Are there two giant statues of kings that guard a mountain pass? You let me know, audience. We're actually going to hold off on that. Well, now that I made it, we're going to put it in there. But 2 and 7 is forest hunting grounds. And just because Jim's here, I'm going to add elk. That's what's under there. So Adam can go get brainworms. But let's get the map written in. So what we've got is... I'm going to have to do this on another page just so I can see everything, and then I'll bring it over. We have mountains. Mountain, mountain, mountain. Then we have hills. 3 hills. Then we have a marsh. A forest. A hill and a mountain. And that hill has a special destroyed watchtower. Look at that. There we go. Some way to put like an X over it to indicate that it's been destroyed. And I'm looking for something a little less big like that.